Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Thomas from RohmerFitness, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 worst exercises that you should not be doing. But before I get into that, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that way you can stay up to date with my latest tips and videos. Now, when it comes to the worst exercises, right, the reason why they're on this list is because they're either going to be the most likely to cause injury if you keep doing them over time, or because there just are simply exercises out there that are better than these. So you have better options, and these are the most likely to cause you injury, and they're just not worth it. The risk to reward is not worth it. So let's go ahead and jump right in it with the first one. It is going to be the barbell close grip bench press. Now, the reason why this exercise is making it on the list here is because it's going to place your wrist and elbows in a very awkward position. They're going to be a little bit too close together, and the barbell isn't going to give them very much flexibility at all. So over time doing this exercise, if you're going to be working up to some pretty heavy weights, which is the goal with this exercise, you're going to be placing your wrists and elbows in a very awkward position. So a much better way to do this exercise is to simply just do the dumbbell version. Now, this isn't something you see a lot of people doing, but the dumbbells are going to give your wrist much more flexibility, and it's going to allow your hands to go into a neutral grip position, which is going to be much easier on your elbows as well. And you can also work up to some pretty heavy weights as well with this exercise. So it's just a much better option to just simply switch over to the dumbbell version rather than stick with the barbell. The exercise itself is great, but the manner in which you do it can be a little bit hard on certain joints and ligaments. Now, my second worst exercise on the list here today is going to be leg extensions. The reason for this is it simply places too much stress and tension on your knees. So over time doing this exercise, you can notice some pain and aches or even injuries with your knees. So a much better exercise to do in this case would simply just be something like a front squat. So this is a great compound exercise, and the difference between a front squat and a back squat is that the front squat will place a lot more emphasis on the quads as opposed to the back squat, which will place more emphasis on the glutes and hamstrings. So just simply do something like a front squat or a Bulgarian split squat, something of that nature. Really good compound exercise that's also going to hit the quads really hard. Now, my third exercise on the list is going to be sit-ups. Now, there's a couple reasons why I don't like sit-ups. The first one is it places a little bit too much stress and strain on the lower back. So if you are, doing weighted sit-ups or whatever the case may be, you're going to put your lower back at risk for injury. But also, there is no tension at the top or bottom of the movement. So whenever you're laying completely flat on the floor, there's no tension on your abs right there. And then when you reach the very top of the range of motion where your body is sitting upright perpendicular to the floor, there's no tension on your abs at that moment either. So really and truly, you're cutting off the tension on the muscle you're trying to work at the start and at the end of the movement. So a much better exercise to do in place of a sit-up is going to be a hanging leg raise. This is going to be much more challenging. It's going to challenge your grip strength. It's going to challenge a lot more stabilize your muscles to work your body through this exercise. And it's going to hit the lower abs a lot harder. So you'll notice if at the top of the movement, when your legs are straight out in front of you, you're going to have to fight to keep those legs upright and keep constant tension on your abs, whereas at the top of a sit-up, there's no tension on your abs at all. Now, number 4 on the list, I have barbell upright rows. So again, this is another exercise kind of similar to the close grip bench press in the sense that it's going to place your wrist and your elbows in a very awkward spot. It's just it could lead to a shoulder impingement just because of the nature of the exercise. Your wrists don't have any flexibility as you're moving them up and flaring your elbows outwards. So over time, this could just lead to shoulder problems, and a much better replacement exercise is to simply, again, just do a dumbbell variation of it, where you're going to be able to give your wrist more flexibility within the movement to move how they need to move. Or you could simply just do a military press. Either one of those exercises are going to hit the front delts perfectly fine. There's no sense in risking it by doing the barbell version, where you can simply just switch over to dumbbells or even just go right into a military press instead. Now, my fifth and final exercise is going to be behind the neck pull-ups, presses, or lat pull-downs, anything where you're going behind your neck to perform the exercise. Now, the reason why this is so bad is because your shoulders are not naturally meant to go back that far. And you can actually test this out yourself right now. If you just kind of put your hands behind your neck, you can kind of feel tension in your shoulder where it's not supposed to be. So as you can imagine, if you're working up to some pretty heavy weights and doing these types of exercises, you are going to be putting yourself at risk for injury. So a better way to do this is to simply just keep it in front of your neck, in front of your body. Do your overhead presses, your pull-ups, your lat pull-downs in front of your body, and just bringing it up to your collarbone, and then performing the exercise from there. That is going to put your shoulders in a much safer position to perform the exercise. So that is going to be it for today's video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and also while you're at it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that way you can stay up to date with my latest tips and videos. And other than that, I will be talking to you next time. Peace.